Let's move on. The challenges, Joanna, associated with business development. We could probably got one each in this room, but if we're totally honest, but talking from a professional and a coaching point of view, the challenges associated with development.
Well, the first one's time. We're all time poor, aren't we? And time is finite.
Exactly.
You can't get more time even with more money. So that's a big one. And linked to that, the pressure for chargeable hours. We've got to get the client work done. A lot of professional services, not just law firms, that monitor that. And so there needs to be a fundamental shift of getting business owners, whether that be the partners in a law firm or others, having a mindset of people need to be doing business development and giving them that permission. Of course, it needs to be structured and focused, not just people randomly doing stuff. I mean, the client I just mentioned, actually, she said, my firm did a top networkers email and I was fourth. And she was telling me this as a positive. I said, oh, that's great. Well done. Yes, good for your visibility internally. But I said, what was it based on? She said, who'd been to most networking events? I was like, okay, so those people could have gone and had a lovely lunch, drunk a lot of wine, but achieved absolutely nothing for the firm. So that is tricky. And as I said, people don't like what they perceive to be as selling. But actually, if you can reposition, whether it's with yourself or others, that actually you're helping your prospective clients deal with challenges. So as most of us are in professional services in this room, we're either helping our clients with problems, we're helping them avoid risk, or we're bringing a benefit. And if you can think about it that way and help your teams to think about it that way, then it's better, because we're not just giving clients stuff they don't want. We're not selling them stuff they don't want and need. We're helping them with those situations. So getting people used to thinking in that way. And lack of focus, that's a big problem, actually. People not focused on what sort of clients are we really looking for, to sell what services, and how are we going to find them. There's got to be that focus. It's no good sending your team off to networking events if they've got absolutely no idea what they're trying to sell to who. And then, dare I say, always looking for new clients, new shiny clients, rather than making the most of the existing ones. That's a big challenge. And then what I hear from more junior people in firms is the senior people, whether that be partners or otherwise, hanging on to those client relationships. That they're very protective over them. And not developing the juniors. And that's a particular issue now with more working from home, because junior people don't get to see how senior people engage with clients as much. So that's an issue. And what was quite interesting, about a year ago, I was talking to somebody I know who shall remain nameless, definitely with the example I'm going to give, a lawyer. And that person, I'll try and keep their gender neutral as well, said, I don't like upskilling my juniors because, they might take contacts and leave, and then what am I going to do? And I thought, that's ever so short-sighted. And what was interesting was then actually my husband and I engaged that firm to do some work for us, for my husband's business and personally, and I could tell those juniors had no training on how to deal with clients. It was an appalling job, absolutely appalling. The whole way they handled us as clients was awful. I hope this person now doesn't see this, but it was really, really poor. And you could see that those people had not been upskilled how to deal with clients, never mind the actual proactive business development.
Well, those juniors are probably not going to stay around in that firm until they're given a showing and a bit of diversity and variety in another firm, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not being developed. And now, particularly junior people, one of the reasons they leave firms is they don't feel like they're being developed. So that's an issue as well.
It's not just the money.
Yeah, not just money at all, no.